Hello everyone, and we are back after like 2 or 3 months with the new episodes of our podcast. And this is the end of the spring season, and we're gonna talk about the three shows that airing during this spring season, and they're including Kaiju number 8, the train at the end of the universe. Is it how
Train
the
to the
train
End of the
to the end?
World, I think.
Yeah, Shuumatsu train Doko Iku, and the final season of Hibike Euphonium. And if you still don't know who we are by now, I'm Mario, and with me as always is Pooper.
That's me, as always.
Yeah. So I think when we do the first impression back in like 2 3 months ago, we said that this is like one of the good seasons. And how do you feel, Hooper, after you watching these two shows?
I feel watching just three shows doesn't tell you anything about the full
Yep,
season of anime with like 40 different productions.
that that's fair.
Got no idea really. There are lots of shows from this season that I have not watched beyond the first episode, such as I don't know Astro Boy, and I haven't even seen a single episode of Girls Band Cry, or not Astro Boy, Astro Note. I only saw one
Yep.
episode of Astro Note. I haven't seen a single episode of Girls Band Cry. I don't know. I'm sure there were others that I was looking forward to watching, but
Yep.
there are still some that I will catch up on probably later this year,
Hmm.
and I'm interested, you know,
Yep.
to watch them. So at the very least, I feel optimistic about some of what the season had to offer. But it's only these three shows that I've finished personally, and
Yep.
they don't tell me a whole lot
All right.
just on their own.
That's interesting. Yeah. So how do we take about the three shows? So let's find out. Um, can we start with, I think, our number one, which is Kaiju number 8.
Yeah, the show that jointly we were most uh, interested in just after the first
Yep.
episode.
Yep.
I guess we can start there. It'll be kind of an easy one to discuss first because after its fairly promising first episode, I feel like it kind of dropped off.
I agree. It feel a bit like My Hero Academia with the format and with the characters as well. I just feel that the two show are the characters are really interchangeable.
Really, I think it's
Yeah,
Attack on Titan.
and Attack on that Titan as well, but not as gory. Is it?
I mean, it's pretty gory.
Yeah. Well,
You got characters' limbs getting chopped off
yeah.
constantly, or
Blood
and big like
everywhere.
chunks of their torsos getting, uh, punched out of them or blown out of them with by an energy blast or something. And then they're either a kaiju, so they regenerate, or they are a human with a magical kaiju powered suit of some description.
Yeah.
So it heals. Not only does the suit put itself back together, but it creates flesh to repair the missing chunk that
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
taken out of their body. I don't, it's just it's basically just magic,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is fine, I guess. But
I
yeah,
agree with.
I really feel like it's extremely Attack on Titan inspired. The main
Yeah.
character is Eren because he is half human, half Titan or kaiju in this case.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
there's Hoshina, who is like the vice captain of whatever squad they're
Yeah.
in, who is basically Levi from Attack on Titan.
Who is
He's
extremely skilled. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
extremely
I can see
skilled.
that.
He looks more like directly Asian than the other characters.
Yep.
And he's got the bowl cut, and he like has spinning moves with his blades.
Yep.
There's also Shinomiya, who's like a super gifted female soldier. She's
Yep.
Mikasa,
Yep.
Aaron's friend from Attack on Titan. It's just very similar to me.
That make me the question that is there any team member from from this cast gonna be, you know, a Kaiju, like a really bad Kaiju later on.
Oh, you mean like Bert and
Yeah, whatever her
Reinhardt?
name
Was it
is.
Reinhard and Berthold?
Yeah, and there's another female,
Oh yeah, Annie from Attack on
Annie. Yep,
Titan, who was the female Titan. She
yep,
turned into
yep,
she put herself in a big crystal cocoon for like 2 full seasons
yep,
and did nothing.
yep.
I mean, there are a
But
bunch of characters in the show who I wouldn't mind turning into gigantic crystal cocoons and just becoming irrelevant because I don't really care too much about it,
yeah,
many of them. Like all the like promising rookies, you know, the guy with the green hair, the guy with the red hair, the guy with the blonde hair.
yeah,
To me, that's how
yeah,
I think of them, just the guy with X-colored hair because their introductions are so boring. Like, oh, and this guy's a promising new recruit. He's from the JSDF. This guy's he's from a really influential family. Oh, and this
yeah,
guy over here, he's got an unleashed combat score of such and such out of a
yeah,
hundred.
yeah,
Wow, what a promising group of rookies. Like,
yeah.
you don't even need to know their names.
All right. I think the high for me is certainly the first episodes where we know about more about Kafka and, you know, the whole deal about, you know, cleaning up the kaiju. I think that aspect is very interesting. That later on in the season we don't see that much. We see they just blowing off the kaiju. We don't see the process behind that anymore.
Right.
And the lowest for me is actually, you know, like the end of episode 2, where I just realized that they're going to do the testing,
The
which
exam arc.
the exam, yeah, which basically, you know, like we see a lot of whole new faces, and, you know, it just getting really familiar.
Oh, so that maybe that's part of why you said it reminded you of Academia
Yeah, yeah.
because of
That's
the
what
the
I would,
exam
yeah,
arc. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, a lot of Battle Shonen have
And
an exam or uh,
and
something
even the
like that.
structure, and even the structure as well, you will see that whenever they fighting the enemy, it will start with, you know, like they showing their abilities and showing that, you know, like how much each of the characters had improved since, you know, the last time we saw him, which is like 10 minutes ago. uh, uh, Training and improving and basically like upgrading, and then there will be like some sort of you know, like new challenge happening, you know, like right at the end of this battle, that, you know, like that make Kafka have to uh,
Transform.
transforming into the Kaiju #8 and save the world. So I think that format is really familiar, similar to My Hero Academia and all other shonen shows.
Yeah. It is very formulaic. I mean, all the characters having unleashed combat powers that are expressed in terms of percentages,
Yep, yep,
and the kaiju being measured on like a fortitude scale,
yep,
and every new kaiju that appears being slightly higher on said scale, so that all
yep,
the the scientists with the white lab coats and the glasses in their little HQ room with all the computer monitors around them can gasp and be like,
freak out.
"Oh,
Yep,
it's this one's fortitude 9.8. Oh no, this one is fortitude 10."
yep,
Uh, yeah. I mean,
yep,
people just love this stuff.
yep.
It's it's good, I guess.
Good. Yep,
Yeah, it's I mean it's a good thing that I guess manga artists have like a set path that they can take their story down if they want to succeed. You know, like if you're good at drawing, you don't necessarily have to be good at writing. You can just flip through your old copies of Shonen Jump and go chapter by chapter and sub your characters in for characters from other series.
yep. But to be fair though, I still feel that some of the enemies, is especially the Kaiju number 9, that still got me interested. He's the one who like learn the human, can speak the human language, learn more about the human, and he's the one who always like scheme something.
Well, hold on. He doesn't just speak the human language.
He
He
can
also
transform
can
into.
play 12 chess games at a time.
Yep, yep. And
In the
he
final episode, like the last few minutes of the final episode, you see him playing a bunch of chess games, and in the voiceover he says, "I have I have understood the limit of human intelligence by playing chess."
Yep, yep.
It's honestly, it's such a pseudo intellectual way of making a character appear smart, is to just have them play like
Play
multiple
chess.
chess games at the same time. That's what a really dumb person's idea of intelligence is.
I can acquire all the knowledge, but well, good for him.
Yeah, just got to be Bobby Fischer.
Yeah. Um, I think that the show got me interested again. Well, when Kafka appeared, uh, like let his identity know by like the rest of the team. How do you take up that? Well,
So that was episode 10, right?
yeah,
That was it? Did he only reveal himself once the kaiju bomb, the Yoju bomb, was in
yeah,
the air?
yeah. About
Yeah.
to set off and killing everyone, so he had to transform to save the day, and you
And
know
yeah, he like took off. He has those little rocket launchers in his I don't know, his
shoe.
quads, or no, not his quads, his calves.
Yep,
And I think on his, maybe on his arms too, around his elbows. And he blasts off like a rocket into the sky and like extends his fist and punches it and pushes it upward using
yep,
the momentum from his jet boosters. The I thought it was fine. You know,
right.
the animation is, I mean, I would say on the whole this show is animated very competently,
Yep,
but it only really wowed me in a couple instances, and I would say that was one of them. Like you get a nice rotating shot around his really intense expression, the camera
yep,
really tight on him because it has to swivel around the front of his face when he's so close to the bomb, and it's kind of like a Gurren Lagann type of moment, like he's going beyond the impossible, you know.
yep,
And there's all
yep,
sorts of effects that are happening around his face, not only like speed lines, but also I don't know, just smoke and fire maybe from how he's propelling himself upward, as well as the glowing of the bomb in front of him.
yep.
And you get the roar of his voice as well. And it's not super layered like Kaiju number 9. Whenever he speaks, it's got that really annoying tone to it where it's the vocals are super processed.
Yep.
But he's got more of like an animalistic sound. Kafka does when he's Kaiju number 8. So that's a good moment. Um, I liked it. I was
Yep.
glad that he revealed himself in that moment and not just to uh, Ichikawa or Shinomiya, but to everyone, because that actually shakes things up and gets the show out of the rut that it was in before that point.
Yep. 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 I agree with you on that. But at the same time, yeah, at the end of this season, we know that he not being eliminated. Uh, but they will use him as a as a weapon to fight against this kaiju. So good for him.
Yeah, for not dying, sure. Not being dissected or experimented on or cut up
Yep.
into little parts and used to create kaiju based weapons. Yeah, like Shinomiya's dad has those gauntlets. Yeah, I guess it's good. But I just, it's kind of a shame because he's like a 32-year-old man in a shonen series.
Yep.
So as a mid 30s person, I was kind of like not exactly rooting for him, but being like, yeah, old
yeah,
guy representation for me.
yeah,
And he just kind of ends up being a nice guy who is always doing goofy shonen reaction shots to stuff.
yeah, 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 yeah.
The
That
show doesn't really use his quote unquote advanced age as a part of his character in any meaningful way. He's just like an overgrown child, kind of.
that
It's
is true
not
as
really a
well.
bad thing, but he doesn't have a personality all his own.
Mhm. Yeah,
He just tries really hard and he wants to stand next to his childhood friend. That's his whole
yeah,
motivation. I think
yeah,
those might even be the closing words of this final. Well, beyond the the little tag with Kaiju number 9 and the chess games and stuff.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
those are Kafka's final words. Is like, wait for me,
Mina.
Mina. I'm gonna stand beside you. And I don't. He probably says that a dozen times over the
Yeah.
course of these dozen episodes.
And every time he said that out loud, he got 100 push up.
Right. For failing to address the superior officer,
Yeah,
properly.
yeah. Wow. All right. Yep. Uh, Man, I got nothing else to say about this show. I think it's still pleasant to look at for once. Some of the fight I like you said as well. Some of the fight are actually pretty good, but taken as a whole, like there's none of the characters that actually memorable.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem, at least for me.
Yeah,
Like the Ichikawa or Rino, depending on whose point of view you're addressing
yeah,
him from.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
His the only thing he cares about is his senpai,
yeah,
senpai. Like he has no other thoughts.
yeah,
When Mina says, "Okay, you're all getting split up and going to different divisions because the Tachikawa base has been obliterated. We need to send our rookies to other places." And one of the guys, maybe green hair.
no, red
Uh,
hair. I'm pretty sure.
what
All
about
right.
red hair?
No, no, no. Yeah, you go on. I think that's the guy who complained a lot, and that's the guy who always thinks Reno or Ichigawa as a rival.
Right. Yeah, the red hair guy is his rival, but what I'm talking about is the green haired guy
Yep,
correctly points out, "Oh, they're just doing this to separate us so we
I
can't
yep,
communicate and we can't plot
yep,
because they
yep,
want to see how we react in isolation since we were all friends with Kafka."
yep, yep, yep.
And everyone's like, "Yeah, this is totally unfair, blah blah blah." And Ichikawa just says, "I'll do it. I just need to get stronger for my senpai."
Yep.
So I'll do it. I'll go wherever they want me to go. This is all for my senpai.
I
Senpai,
I
senpai, senpai.
yep. I just want that the next time he came back, he wouldn't be losing his life saving someone as weak as me. So I need to get stronger. That's just the
Yeah.
mentality.
I need to get stronger. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Shinomiya, I think she thinks that to herself as well when she sees him fighting with her father.
yeah, yeah.
I need to get stronger so that I can stop him from going crazy. And Kafka needs to get stronger so he can stand by Mina.
Yeah. All
It is
right.
just pretty dull.
Standard. Yeah.
There's some, there like episode 5, the one where there's like training. This is after I think this is after everybody has become an officer except for Kafka.
Who is a cadet?
Yeah,
Cadet.
he's a cadet. And that episode 5 is mostly dedicated to like training sequences and also the characters hanging out in the bath.
Oh, yep.
I thought that episode was okay, because there
Hey,
was an
hey.
attempt being
Yep.
made to get the characters out of like gunfire mode
Yep.
and unleashed combat potential percentage mode and have them
Yeah.
actually, interact with each other as human beings. I thought that episode was decent.
Yeah. But then again, we got shot we got like like that reaction where Kafka saying that the captain was like his childhood friend, and they like going overboard, and then they just like stay on the hot bath for too long, and they all get tired, they'll get sick. It's just so anime.
Yeah, I didn't. It is definitely so anime, but I didn't really mind that.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
it was just expected, I guess.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And at least it was a change from, a character doing something and then one of the captains being like, "Ah, yes, they're very promising," and then the girl with the glasses in the control room being like, 32%. This one has 32%. That's how strong they are."
Yeah.
And then cut to another character shooting at a kaiju with their gun.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy over here, he's even stronger than the last guy that was on the screen. Oh, 34%. That this one's 34 percentage points of power.
Yeah.
Like, at least we got away from that, because that was dreadfully boring.
Yeah. All right. All right. I just give it to you now. You have any other notes? If before we get into the next shows.
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
So in episode 10, that's the one where Hoshina is fighting with the big red kaiju number 10, I guess,
Yep.
fittingly given the episode number. And there's he's fighting against them and fighting against them, slashing at him with his blades. He cuts into his skin a million times, and of course the kaiju just regenerates every time. So
Yeah.
what really needs to happen for him to die is for Mina to shoot him with her big gun.
Yep.
So the show engineers the same exact sequence 2 times and plays them back to back. So the sequence is Hoshina is slashing at him, and
Yep.
eventually he gets grabbed in the monster's fist,
Yep.
and it looks like he's about to be eaten or something. And then
Yep.
Hoshina delivers some quippy one-liner, and then
Yep.
Mina shoots the red kaiju,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
and Hoshina goes free. So that exact same sequence of events happens 2 times in a row. And the first time, Hoshina says, "Looks like I win this fight," after being grabbed and being in the monster's fist. And then Mina shoots it. And so the monster's not dead, but the show, it doesn't use that. It doesn't transition into some new part of the fight or anything. It just goes right back to, I don't know, cuts away to some other scene for a couple of minutes, cuts back. They're still fighting. Hoshina is still slashing at it. Gets grabbed again. He's in the monster's fist. He's about to get eaten or something. And then he says, "You picked the wrong folks to mess with." And then Mina shoots it again. It's the same exact scene,
Yep.
same order of events, and it happens 2 times in a row in the same episode. Like, I can't imagine, even the most fervent shonen fans who love the all the exposition and the formula of it. I can't imagine that any of them were watching this episode and didn't realize that and go, "Wait, what the? Is this deja vu? Didn't I just watch this?"
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Oh,
It,
that was when I saw that, I was like, I was almost more amused than I was pissed off,
yeah.
because it was so ballsy to just, make your episode so redundant.
Yeah, I think the first one, or even like the one before that, the first time that Hoshina get captured, or like when he realized that he run out of power, he think to himself that he was about to give up. That's when Mina fired a shot. So this must have happened like 2 or even 3 times in one episode.
Huh. I didn't
Yeah.
even. I don't
So
even.
that
I don't even remember the part where he like gives up and is about to get eaten or whatever and gets saved.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, because I just remember yeah, there's like a moment where he just feeling really down. he just say like like all the effort that he make, he never big of shooting, and now he just fight like a really big monster where he cannot slide off cleanly, and then he used all of the power, and then I think at one point he just think to himself that like this is just as far as I can go.
Then we probably see the flashbacks, right? Of his dad being like, "You were born into the wrong era," and his first commanding officer
just give up.
saying, "Well, I don't know if you're gonna make it. You use swords." And that sort of thing is such an obvious, it's meant for Japanese audiences, because of the way that warfare changed when guns were introduced to Japan. It's, but you want to keep the tradition alive, keep the way of the sword alive. That's what his character is supposed to represent, I guess.
All right.
I can't really connect with that. I guess, being American, we love our guns over here. 4th of July was yesterday as well, so we love our guns that much more.
All right.
And our fireworks.
Shall we?
As I was watching some of these episodes last night, fireworks were going off.
Oh, that's
and I was like, please, just shut up. I'm just trying to watch Japanese cartoons over here. I don't... American fireworks are distracting me.
All right. Shall we get to the next show?
Yeah, what would that be?
Let's go with Shuumatsu Train, Doko e Kiku.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that what your reaction to the whole show?
No, but you know what? I do remember a moment from one of the later episodes, one of the more recent ones, I guess, towards the end of the show's run, where Pochi yawns, and then Shizuru, who's driving the train, also yawns. And then I remember while I was watching that episode, I also yawned, seeing them yawn. You know how you, in real life, when you see somebody yawn, you have like a sympathetic reaction, and you do the same thing. That even applies to animation, I guess.
Wow. That's how good the animation is.
Well, it's interesting that the animation for the show, it is very simple. And the character designs are also very simple. But it held up pretty well for a show that was apparently like where people were suffering and dying behind the scenes. There was a question of whether this show was going to like get all its episodes out on time, because almost none of it was finished when the show started airing.
Yeah. To the point that I know that the last episode was delayed for a week.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because on Subs Please, there was like an episode 11.5 or something.
Yep.
Right. But I mean, that's pretty good for anime. Like only a 1 week delay. That's you almost expect shows to get delayed for at least a week now. If they manage that, that's thumbs up.
And I just feel that looking at the whole product, like from episode to episode, I actually don't see the moment where like the production quality drop at all. Have you noticed that? Because I certainly hadn't.
Well, I think the show is kind of built to be animated cheaply.
Yeah.
The character designs are simple. There's a lot of standing around and talking, and the show kind of leans more on its environments, I think, than on its, I don't know, blocking or framing or action or anything like that.
Yep.
It's mostly just about the crazy places the characters go. All the 30 stops and what all of their quirks are, how they've all been changed by 7G.
I tell you what, I really love the concept of the show. Like I think we mentioned that within the first episodes, but like the mention of the 7G, which is like after the 5G, and a lot of people in the real life saying that 5G is not real. Like the whole conspiracy, oh, what?
You say,
Com, com,
say spear.
spear
Conspire.
conspiracy
Yeah, there you go.
about
There's a spear in it.
all right, conspiracy about how 5G is not real. You know,
I kind of
uh,
know what you're talking about.
and
Some people say that 5G like gives you cancer or
yep, all
stuff like
that.
that. Yeah.
Uh,
So based
yeah,
on Pontaro's explanation at the start in episode 1, before Yoka actually presses the button, he says something about like Japan being very slow to adapt 5G,
yep, yep,
like the rest of the world, perhaps other first world nations, did it quicker,
yep, yep.
and then they. So maybe that's why Japanese people live so long and are so healthy, is because they don't have 5G in the air.
That maybe that is true. Maybe I should move to Japan.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, all I want to say is all I heading at is that like the main concept is actually pretty interesting, and like it has some uh, something smart to say about the real life as well. And then there is like the premise of like going for 30 stops, and it's based on the real life ones as well. And there is the map that like one of the characters, I see his name here is One Hermit Mike,
Yeah,
that
he doesn't
like,
he doesn't have like a given name.
yeah, the guy with the white hair. And obviously at first it's just all nonsense, but like it kind of makes sense at the end. So like there's like this little bit of things, and even like the whole when we get into the stops, it just like every stop is just so distinctive and so weird in a delightful way.
Yeah,
I
they
I,
are
I
definitely weird.
I kind of like all that. But at the same time, I just feel the characters, for example, um, they're too generic. Like
I don't.
we see a lot of flashback of them against each other, but I actually, for one, feel that they could get better if they don't show any of the flashback between this character at all.
Well, I mean, it's a tall order to ask an anime not to have flashbacks,
That's true. Yep.
and as the viewer, you kind of want some
Clarity.
evidence of like the
Yep.
conflict between Shizuru and Yoka, like what caused Yoka to go off to Ikebukuro.
Yep.
If we had relied entirely on conversation in the present between Shizuru and Reimi, Akira, and Nadeshiko, maybe it wouldn't have been quite as satisfying. I'm not sure. You could do it that way. I'll tell you what I did like. One thing I did like is that in the early episodes, they always opened with a little flashback to like their childhood.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
You know,
Yep.
at first it was Yoka standing in front of the class with her, because she's a transfer student. She's just moved to Agano, and she's got the really long hair, kind of obscuring her eyes. And Shizuru, one of the later flashbacks is Shizuru being the first friend that she makes, and then they have a little moment underneath the stars where they
Yep.
promise to support one another or something along those lines, and they're underneath the star, a particular star. What was it? Starts with an S, right?
Uh,
Sirius.
yep. All right. Got it.
Shiriyusu. Yeah. And that Yoka knowing what star it is kind of the first hint that you get that she's interested in astronomy,
Yep.
which later plays into the schism that forms between her and Shizuru.
Yep.
So I liked those flashbacks, like the little ones at the start of each episode. I thought those were were fine.
Mhm.
And they were kind of a nice way to ease you into the craziness of each episode because they were
True.
stopping at like, you know,
Yep.
places where there were goat men that were coming up out of the grass and charging the train and headbutting it, and weird
That's
roots
amazing.
that were like popping up out of the ground and waving
Just
their arms
laugh.
around and like screeching.
Yep. Yep.
You need a little breather before all of that.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Those were weird.
Oh, a lot of things happening in this episode is really weird. I think I can say that because one of these, like the most normal thing that this show does is having a town or a city that plagued with zombie. And
Yeah.
yeah, and if we feel that is the most normal thing that the show does, just see like how bizarre everything else is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even zombies in isolation, outside the context of the show, just zombies have gotten to be pretty normal.
Yeah,
Everybody
that.
loves zombies. Everybody wants to watch zombie movies and TV shows, and
But
you know.
it's
But this show has a twist.
yeah.
Zombies have a particular weakness in Shuumatsu Train, and that is, of course, panties. This is Japan, after all.
And yeah, what is the consequences? They they got explode. Their head explode.
I not just their head, but all of them, right? Like they just evaporate. They just burst
Yeah,
into
true.
a cloud and disappear forever, I guess. I wonder if any of those zombies
Come
that,
back to life.
yeah, did they come
I
back to
think
life or did
I
they
would
did
say
they die permanently?
I would say they do. I'm not sure about the ones that Yoka transform into the cake, cupcake, or is that something? And then that guy just eat that cake. Remember, I don't think that this person can come back to life. But all the
I don't even
others,
know what you're talking about. I don't
all
even
right.
remember this. Zombies get transformed into a cake?
No, 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 no. The girl who press the button, your card, right?
Yeah.
She when she get angry, she can transform
Oh, egg custard.
egg custard. Yeah, sorry,
Yes.
I just don't remember that. Yeah, what that is. Egg
Yeah.
custards.
She turns
Uh,
people. Is it her who turns people into egg custard?
it is
Or is
hers.
it
With
or is it
with
Pontaro who like
it
blames it
is
on her?
no, 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 no. It is her with the power of her hair.
Yeah, I know her
She can.
hair. I definitely remember her hair having crazy powers.
Yeah, and then one of the guy who turned into the egg custards, and I think Kotaro just eat that egg custards and say yummy.
Yeah, I guess that guy's permanently dead.
Oh man.
You know, speaking of which,
Yep.
I'm remembering now the final episode when Yoka hits the button again
Yep.
and
Yep.
everything returns to quote unquote normal, although it
Yep.
doesn't really because we see, through the phone call back to Agano with the red haired doctor who's now
Yep.
gigantic.
Yep.
Not everything's back to normal. Like the adults who had turned into animals are now half animal, half human.
Yep. Yep.
So it's not like a complete victory, but when Yoka hits the button in episode 12 and everything goes back to quote unquote normal,
Yep.
I think you see some. It's all like really rapid fire. This whole show is really rapid fire,
Yep.
but you see Pontaro kind of melt and turn into a yellowish blob. I guess that was egg custard.
Ooh, I didn't actually remember. Yeah, about Potaros. That after she pressed the button. So
You see for just a
good
split
point.
second, you see him melt and turn into like a kind of a blob.
The
So yeah,
Wow.
I'm guessing the intention there was that he turned into egg custard, kind of as like karmic retribution for him. I don't know, probably like
Being an asshole for.
convincing Yoka to do the same to all of his enemies
Yep. But
because he was manipulating her, to keep the world in its 7G state, so he wouldn't be responsible for
Yeah.
engineering the whole thing.
All right. I know that it doesn't make much sense when I say this, but the fact that your car can press the 7G button and it's back to quote unquote normal, it doesn't make sense to me either. You know, you
Um,
know, you know that this girl tried to put that 7G and it doesn't take any effect because they say it's your car who the one who originally pushed the button, so she the one had to do it again. But my take is that she's the one have to push the button back in that town. What is the what is the place that they try to go into in the first place? The Shibuya.
Ikebukuro.
All right. Yep. All right.
Is that what you're talking
She's
about?
yeah. The the original place.
The
Uh,
original place being their hometown, Agano.
no, no. Sorry,
Their
the
destination,
destination.
Ikebukuro.
All right. Yep. She have to push the button in that place in order for that to take effect. If you understand what I mean. So yeah, whatever. I
I don't.
just
I'm not sure I do understand what you mean.
yeah. So she the one had to push a button in that exactly same location for that to take effect. That's my
Oh,
tag.
you think that it's weird that she had to push it in exactly the same place,
No.
or
I
that's just
mean
what was required?
yeah. Yep. That is what is required to take the Earth back to normal.
Okay,
So
could be.
that
Does the show
that's
ever
just my
confirm
crazy
that?
theory. No, no. That's just my
But she
crazy
does end
theory.
up pressing it in the same place, right? Because when
Nope.
the whole world
No.
goes back to normal, they're on top of that same building, from what I remember,
All right. Huh.
aren't they?
But yeah, but the thing is, they was taking a train to go out of that place, you know,
Yeah,
and they would.
they
But
kind of leave
whatever.
Ikebukuro behind when they're in that the they
Yep.
keep driving on the tracks, and eventually the zombie queen has to call her army of zombies to make a
Zombie
bridge
Queen. Mm-hmm.
that the train can cross.
That.
And then yeah, so they're I guess they're outside the realm of Ikebukuro in that point. I don't know where they are in some other dimension or something, because the whole sky around them looks like like a photograph of a nebula with a bunch of stars and like purpley
Yeah.
colors and stuff. It's all I don't know, man. It's all very strange.
Yeah.
The process of writing this show must have just been so easy because you're just like,
Easy.
okay, well, yeah, I think so, because you're just like, okay, well, what random shit do I want to happen next?
Yeah.
And you don't
I
have to really connect any events to any other events. It doesn't matter. You can just say, wibble wobble.
I
Okay, they're over here now.
Yeah, well, I do think that if you know about, like all the stop, because they are very specific, like stop in betweens. So if you know like all the stop in real life, you can make a connection why, like it turned crazy that way. Like one of the stop who, like you can sometimes see the goat. So they have, of course, they will have like the goat people who, just jump headed into the train type thing. And then there's like a, I think the train station where they been attacked uh, by the golf ball, by the rain of golf ball. So I would say that this might be the train in real life that like they have the golf course just
Was
nearby.
that not revealed to be hail? Were there not hailstones?
There could be hailstone, but it in the size of the golf ball. Yeah, that's interesting.
I
So
mean,
you
I think all the characters assumed that they were golf balls, but something I don't know, something about when I watched that episode told me,
it just have
oh, these
hailstone.
are hailstones. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard, man. It's hard to remember everything that I watched, everything I saw and heard while sitting down to
Watching the show.
process this show.
Yeah. And then
It was
yeah,
it was very weird.
I love the weirdness of it. Like sometimes they
I did
try
at
to
first,
yeah
but eventually the show just wore on me. I just got tired. And part
yeah
of that is the pacing of it. This like everybody
uh-huh.
talks so fast.
Yep,
It cuts from one shot to the next so fast because there was so much material that they wanted to squeeze into 12 episodes.
yep, true.
Um,
I
like for
particularly
for example, in
yep.
episode 12,
Mm,
the multiple attempts are made to get Yoko to push the button. This is when she's still kind of like, her mind is kind of muddled, and she's on the train with the other four girls. She's been kidnapped at this point, but they're not exactly getting through to her. So first, Shizuru tries apologizing, and then they all try appealing to her memory, like
yep,
don't you remember us? Don't you remember doing this and that? And all of these attempts are failing because she's like not remembering, or she's attacking them with her hair. And then eventually Nadeshiko says, "Are you having any fun right now? Like, is your current life fun at all?" And that kind of gets through to her, and she's like, "No, I'm not having fun." That
yep,
eventually results in her pushing the button and returning the world to its former state, sort of.
yep.
So even during this big, climactic moment when they're
They still
attempting
talk a
to
lot.
return the world to the way it was,
Yep,
and are like communicating on a human level finally with their friend who they haven't seen in so long. This is what the show's been building to. Even this series of scenes is just like bam, 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 got to get to the next thing, say the next line, get to the next shot, just go, go, go. It
yep,
it feels really hollow
yep. Well,
because the speed of it. It's directed with the goal of just getting the whole script into 23 minutes 12
yeah.
times.
Well, I kind of agree with you on that. I just feel that the show is more interested in the journey it's want to make. You know, like all the crazy stuff that the girls want to get by, and by the ending, they just like want to try to wrap up that as neatly as possible, and sometimes it just go a bit like you said too quickly.
Well, but I mean, as neatly as possible, what is neat about this show? It's not
Yep,
neat at
that's true.
all. I mean, it's crazy.
Yep, yep. That is true. And and I like the craziness of like all the stuff that the show stop. Like you remember the town where they have the mushroom just
Yeah,
grow.
episode 3.
Yeah, I think that episode is kind of amazing. In a sense, it feel like when you watch this show, you feel the uneasiness of like not knowing what's gonna happen next. So this episode is like a prime example of like you can feel that something is wrong with this world, and you don't know what it is until like when you learn the answers that the mushroom kind of control them, grow and control them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like at best it can take that uneasy effect into a sometimes humorous and sometimes like a snacky way to look at like the present life as well. Is in our real life crazy enough. So
I know. I don't think our real life is crazy. Not after watching this.
yeah,
I'm
well,
happy with my real life.
yeah. I for me, so I enjoy the journey that this girl take. I actually just feel that these four girls is and even uh, to the queen, to the zombie queen or Yoka, they just not as memorable or likable. They just too likable for my liking.
Too likable.
I just mean like I just don't see their personality as much. Like they have their each of them have their clear trait, but like nothing beyond that.
Hmm.
All
Um,
right, That's just my complaint, you know.
Okay. I don't know, man. I don't really feel anything about the zombie queen.
Yep.
She got like 1.5 episodes. I feel that was kind of in the
Yep.
middle. Episode 6 and 7, like midway through episode 6. This is after Shizuru has decided to get off the train and travel to Ikebukuro on her own,
Yep.
which
Yep.
was
Yep. Yep.
another that decision was like, what are you doing?
Yep. True.
You literally have a train that is going to take you there, and you're
Yep.
going to try to walk there through all these weird, unpredictable hellscapes and all these
Yep.
different stops along the way. Like, it makes no sense at all.
Oh,
And the argument, the disagreement between the girls about the way that Shizuru treated Yoka, and the way that all the other three girls feel that Shizuru is treating them. Like, she keeps falling back on the excuse that she didn't ask them to come with her. Like, whenever
Yep.
they
Yep.
encounter a
Yep.
difficult situation, Shizuru's like, well, I didn't ask you to come with me.
Yep.
You know, that results in their relationship becoming strained. And so Shizuru decides to leave on her own. That, I didn't feel as though that was written particularly effectively. So in the end, her decision to go off solo and eventually encounter the zombie queen, like, that whole plot to me was tainted, because
Yep.
she shouldn't have left in the first place. And I really wasn't convinced that she got to a place mentally where she would have left.
Yep. Yep.
So when it comes to the zombie queen, I'm like, whatever. I just forget her. The
Yep.
most important thing she did was command the zombies in episode 12 to make that bridge, so they could keep driving their train to the end of the world.
Yep. All right. Yeah. You have any other note?
I got tons here,
Wow.
but
Let's just pick one.
okay. Here's a question. What did you think of episode 8, Neriali World?
All right. Let me remember what that episode is about.
It's based on Neriali World is maybe like a TV series or a book or series of books that
Yep.
Reimi, the Gyaru, is really interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And they go there, and it's like a theme park, kind of, but the bad guys are running the show.
Yep. 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 And
And-
all the good guys have been dead or being captured.
Yeah.
And one of the girls is in the fridge. Like they got high. See, like the citizen there hide her inside the fridge, the
Yeah.
freezer.
Yeah, well, I mean, what did you think of that episode, just in general?
It just, I think it's just like another take against the pop culture. Like how like many of these episodes here either like based on like take a hilarious riff on real life, like I just mentioned before, or like just kind of say this is like a acid version of pop culture. So I think like the theme park, it actually sounds like Alice in Wonderland, or like something along that line. So they have like the characters where the good characters and supposed to be a hero, but actually in this version they are not. And I don't even remember. I don't even remember the results. Like that girl actually got captured, right, in the end, and she died in the end. Hello, are you still there?
I'm here. This is just a test to see if you remember anything about episode 8.
Yep. All right. I remember the beginning. I don't remember much of the end. I remember there's something along the line of the uh, the bad guys move in the way of a Shoji chest. I don't remember how, why they do it. It's just because it's just like some of the rules that that they make, and what is the result? Because I remember I remember that girl got captured or she been dying at the end. The girl with the and I don't remember how she died.
Yeah. I this
And yep,
sometimes Shuumatsu train is just
surrender, hey.
yeah, you just it's
And
whoever wrote it was just like and then this happened and then this happened and then this happened.
yeah,
But why? Doesn't
yeah.
matter.
And even that like the stop before they get into the destination, they encounter the mangaka,
Right.
and they have the ability to like try their powers, or like they transform the girls into another characters,
Well,
and
they
all
it's
that
like
kind of crazy shit.
they changed their genre.
All right. So random,
And that
but
that as, visually is represented as them being in a different art style.
yep. No.
Yeah, I do remember that. And it's their green berets that give them power.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty wild stuff.
Yep. Yep. All right. So I would say I like about like 70% of the shows of like all the craziness this show think of. I would rather watching something like this rather than something like as plain and formulaic at Kaiju number 8. So
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. But, you could just watch neither. That would be my preference, I think.
ah, all right. Are we good for Hibike Euphonium 3?
Are we good? I guess. I
All
think so.
right. Yep. How you feel about this season? I know that we both really enjoyed the OVA that was basically a prequel to these final seasons.
Ensemble Contest 10. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, how did I enjoy the season? I enjoyed it.
Yep. Wow.
I liked it.
I think yep. I think this is really good. I try to compare that to the first season and the second season, and I think that it stands toe by toe, and I would say that because this is the final season as well, I got the most emotion out of it as well. So that's gonna be like the strongest season for me. This one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I will say, talking about emotion, the we got very few performance scenes,
Yeah, I agree.
and in the past, the performance scenes have been some of the most emotional in Hibike
Yep,
Euphonium. And
yep,
in this one, I mean, the only full performance that we really get is in the final episode at Nationals. I guess you could also consider Mayu and Kumiko's audition
y-
as a
yep,
full performance scene, but you only see Reina playing the trumpet because
yep,
they're obscured from view because people need to vote blind.
yep.
So the only like full performance scene that we get is in episode 13, and it is mostly flashbacks.
That's true.
it's
I
way it's way more flashbacks than it is original animation, and I was like,
yep,
don't. Why are you doing this? So literally, my experience of watching that scene was whenever there was new animation, and we saw characters playing their instruments in the moment. at
Yeah.
nationals going for the gold, which was the point of this entire season, was like really pushing for the gold in Kumiko's third year. I was like, oh
Yeah.
yes, this is it. This is that feeling. And then when it would cut to flashbacks, I'd be like, you know, I would be, still enjoying the music and everything, but not really, you
Yeah.
know, not really
Yeah.
feeling what I was supposed to be feeling. I was like, yeah, I know that this happened. I saw it already.
Yeah.
So
I
I
I
would. Oh, why didn't we get a dude? Because one of the most amazing parts of season one was that full performance in
and season
nationals,
two as well.
unbroken for like 4 minutes or something. It
Yeah.
was god. It was like god level.
All right. You
And this season didn't have that.
all right. Did you know there was I don't know if that plot still even exists. There is a plot or there was a plot that actually just go detailing cell euphonium every performance, like everyone who making the note, who doing the note in the instrument, and the guy, I think he was like a real band members, and he actually comment it, on the animation on that if they hit the right note or not.
Yeah, on like the fingerings and whether they were accurate to the
Yep,
sound being produced.
yep.
Yeah.
So I also get the same feeling as you, man. I was like this season just skimming all of the performances, and I think a lot of reason for that. So they save their budget, which is one. I think they want to focus more on the behind the scene rather than on the performance, which is also fair enough. And I also think that they maybe in the future they may get some of the like OVA or special just focusing on these performances, which I also welcome.
I mean, I think that's pretty unlikely to happen, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, all of
Maybe
Hibike Euphonium's OVAs and stuff have not. It's not. They haven't gone back to past
yeah, that's true.
events. They always tell a side story or a new story.
Yeah, yeah, true. But well, I we can always hope. I actually really hope that if we get more of South Euphonium, you know that might be the way to be happen in the future. And yep.
Yeah.
For all these events that happen, I think I really prefer enjoy the conflicts. Like the conflict rise rather naturally. So at first, like some new members of the band who have issues, and really showcase how Kumiko, like becoming more and more of like a stand up perfect, uh, you know, president who looking after all these all the players members.
Standout perfect president, huh?
Well, especially compared to like when we first see her, when she like absolutely doesn't get anything but herself. She doesn't really like playing in the band at all.
What do you mean in like the first season?
The first season, like the first few episodes, I don't. Yeah, I remember this distinctively that she at first she doesn't really wanted to join a music band again because she had done that in her middle school, so she
Right.
doesn't want to do that in high school. And look at her now, or as an adult.
Right. Oh, so you actually did watch a post-credit scene.
Yeah, I want to watch every minute, every seconds of so he became euphonium.
Yeah, she as an adult, yes, she does become an assistant instructor for the
Yeah,
concert band. And you knew that was going to happen, I think, based on
yeah.
her conversation with Michie Sensei
Wow.
around somewhere around episode 10, because the question of what she's going to do after she graduates is kind of lingers throughout the season.
Mm,
Eventually, she does sit down with Michie Sensei, having filled out her form.
yeah.
That all important career form that you see in so many anime. and you
Yeah.
don't see what she's written, and you don't hear the full conversation, but you get the end of it. And
Yeah.
Michie Sensei is like, we knew you were gonna choose
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and and she even expresses disappointment, like
Yeah.
at
No,
how
it's not. It's
predictable a choice it is.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when that happens, you know that she's probably just going to return to ketology in some capacity,
Well, I
because that would be the predictable thing to do. Like I'm the president of the club in my third year, so I guess I'll just hang around the club as an adult.
well, yeah. I my first feeling is that she gonna be a teacher, but I didn't really fully expect that she wanted to be a music teacher, which is like kind of fair because she like the whole question about her future is that she if she gonna stick to music as she as she grow older, and some of the people who just comment that they cannot imagine her without the music. So I think it's kind of like building up to that.
It's interesting that Reina says that she can't picture her doing anything besides music, and her friend from middle school.
Yep.
What is that girl's name? I have it written
Oh,
somewhere. I'm pretty
good
sure
on
it
you.
starts with an A.
Akane? No, Akane is her sister, I think.
No, her sister's name starts with an M, doesn't it?
Oh
Azusa.
wow.
Her friend from another school's name is Azusa.
Yep. All right.
Um, and they have a conversation on the bench, like on a bench
Yep.
on their way home from school or whatever. And she also says, "Oh, I can't imagine you doing anything except for music."
Yep. Yep.
But Kumiko's not so sure. But then the breakthrough comes when they go to see Yoroizuka Senpai,
Yep.
the oboe player who was the main character in Liz and the Bluebird.
Yep.
And she comes down the stairs, to meet with all of her friends, and she's wearing that nice black dress that she wore for the performance. And Kumiko's like, "What would you think of? What would How would you feel if I, went to the same school that you did for music?" And she, Yoroizuka is like, "I wouldn't feel anything. I can't.
Yep.
I can't even imagine you coming here." And Kumiko's mind is just like blown.
Yep.
And she experiences a true moment of clarity. She's like, "You know what? You're right.
Yep.
This isn't what I want to do. You're completely right." So
Talk, talking about Yorosuka, you remember like in the OVA, there was a scene that she's struggling to open the windows.
yes,
And here in the and I think in like the final episodes on the episode before that we got like someone got stuck with that window as well. I love that.
Kanade, the second year euphonium
Yep.
with a
Yep.
little ribbon in her hair.
Yep.
She
Your
the window gets
least
stuck as she's trying to open it and talk to Kumiko and Mayu.
yep. Your least favorite characters, my favorite characters, yes.
Kanade, you mean?
Yep. The girl the
Yeah,
girl
she's
with
annoying.
the girl with the red eyes, yep.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah, she
like her
sucks.
I like her cheekiness.
Yeah, well, it's lucky that the club has a president who can tolerate her.
Yeah, alright.
Because if Reina were president, she would be like, if
Yeah.
Kanade got too annoying, she would just be like, "Shut up, bitch." She would probably say something like extremely hurtful.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, I really enjoy, like the conflict, the soul race. So it actually starts small with like the discontent of the new, like new first years members, and then it starts to like some of the more specific members, like the boy in the second years, who like we learn more about him.
Why did we
And
learn more about him? What was the
why?
point of that?
Well, it's just one episode. I
Well,
don't
there
mind.
it was episode 4. You're talking about Motomu.
Yeah. Well,
Um, I can't remember. Does he also play tuba
yeah.
or no?
Tuba. He played the same instrument as the other girl, the
Midori.
short hair, Sapphire.
Yeah. Well, she goes by Midori because she's embarrassed of her name.
Oh, yeah, Midori. Yeah.
Okay, so he does play tuba. Yeah, and there's that whole weird dynamic between the two of them that's never really cleared up. It's
Yeah.
you assume that he
He
likes
confessed to
Midori,
her.
and I think
Yeah.
she assumes that as well, but he actually doesn't, I
No,
guess.
no, 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 no. I remember like he asked her out one day just to talk to her, and everyone thought that
He was going to confess his feelings.
yeah, we don't know what happened, but I think he did confess, and Midori did refuse. But
Man, I got
we
the completely different. I got the complete opposite vibe, dude.
so what did you
Because
what do you get?
after he talks to her, we don't see it or hear it. But
Yeah,
then, Kumiko and I guess Reina come across Midori,
yeah, yeah,
on like the lower level of the this building where they're having their training camp,
yep, yep.
and she's by the window, kind of staring out the window, and Midori says something to Kumiko along the lines of, "You knew already, didn't you, Kumiko?"
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably an indication. What she's referring to is that Motomu sees her at like his sister. Remember, because Motomu says to Kumiko as the two of them are talking earlier, in episode 4, in the Motomu episode that's focused on him and his relationship to his grandfather and stuff, he says that
Yep.
he sees Midori as like his sister, as somebody who was really into concert band,
Hmm. Yep,
but
yep, yep.
eventually his sister gets sick and passes away.
That might be what
So
happened as well.
So I
Yep,
think he views Midori as a sister, but she expected that he liked her, and so she
yep,
was disappointed when she learned that he didn't, and that's why she says to Kumiko, "Oh, you knew this already."
yep, yep. So she the one who feel rejected. Oh,
I think yes,
yep. Well,
but
we never
I
know the
just
answer.
why couldn't we have spent more time with Mayu and less time with like get rid of episode 4, scrap that, give me more Mayu,
Well, we got a lot of Mayu, so
not enough.
right. That was before I tried to get into that point. So before that conflict with Mayu, which is like take up the whole 4 5 last episodes, which is the show highlights. We also got the conflict with the sensei. Like everyone been worried about his decision, which I think is actually pretty well built up. But if I got like a minor complaint with the show, I just feel that the result is a bit too clean. Like all of the result in the shows in this season feel a bit clean to me. There's
uh,
like
what do you mean?
very little. There's very little after effect, and that when you think back about it, the sensei, the teacher doesn't really do anything. It's just the all the members have to work out by themselves. Like, to the point of Kumiko and Reina having a fight against each others. That rarely happen, and even their fight, like got resolved a bit too easily.
Um, I don't know. I can certainly understand why someone would feel that way, I guess,
Yeah,
but I mean, they have a strong friendship, and
special relationship. That
well,
what
yeah.
they
I mean,
that
that
what they
whole
put it.
thing about Reina being special and going off and becoming even more special, that's
Yeah,
that's kind of weird to me. Like the phrasing of it.
yeah,
Um,
that,
Especially since like in season 1, when you as somebody who hasn't read the source novels, you get the feeling that, you know,
the whole shipping.
there's yeah, that the, perhaps Reina is gay
Yeah,
and Kumiko is going to discover that she is as well over
yeah,
the course of the show. But psych, turns out she has a crush on her teacher.
No. Rena have a crush on her teacher, and Kumiko has a crush on her senpai,
Kumiko has a crush on her senpai?
Asuka. Is that her name?
Oh, but that
Is
was see what I'm getting at is like the whole thing about like Reina being special and Kumiko like
yep,
admiring her for how
yep.
special she is and stuff. That's kind of like code, sort of. The show kind of treats it as like a code for an attraction between the two
Yep.
of them, but that ends up not being the case. But then yes, the your whole thing about Kumiko maybe having a crush on Asuka in season 2, that is also like the whole "I love you" thing at the end of season 2. I was like, "What the hell is this?" Because
Yeah, it's
she
the
doesn't actually love Asuka or any woman. You see her with the little pin at the end of season 3. Doesn't she get that from Shuichi?
oh, no
Wasn't that a
idea.
gift from? Was that not a gift from Shuichi?
No idea. I don't remember that pin. Alright, I gonna pick that up later. Maybe?
Yeah. So turns out nobody was gay.
No.
Boring.
Oh man. But yeah. Well,
And
I
I'm
think
about to
that's
Google this right now. Hibike. What was it? A sunflower? The little pin that she had on her book at the in the flash forward, I guess, or I mean, really, there are bits of narration throughout the whole show where
yeah,
Kumiko is speaking from the future.
yeah, true.
So I guess that the post-credit scene in episode 13, we were finally in the present day.
Yeah.
So I'm typing in Hibike Euphonium sunflower pin. Let's see.
If it comes up,
Uh,
yes or no? I'm
well,
waiting.
I'm not gonna bother clicking on a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm not seeing a clear answer on page 1 of the Google results. But
Alright.
you just know that if you Google the correct set of terms, eventually you will find like a forum post or a blog post or something with somebody being like, "She shouldn't have had that pin. That pin was gay erasure. that that pin was a gift from a boy. I
Oh
hate
boy.
this." It was
Oh
I don't
boy.
know. It was the show just ended up. I don't, it's weird. Some of the angles that the show took throughout all three, well, mostly just the first two. Throughout the first two seasons, where they were kind of like pushing two female characters towards each other in a vaguely romantic way, and then that ended up fizzling out. Kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. But except for that, I well oh
I mean,
the,
this show is not the only anime to have done such a thing, or the only
yeah, yeah,
television show to have done something like that.
true.
So whatever, show's still good.
Yeah, true.
Um,
All right.
but we could have
Oh,
used more Mayu. I'm telling you, dude,
yeah. I
not
think
enough. Because what's that?
we can talk about her now. We
Yeah, so
Yep, go on.
her character just feels a little too thin. Because most
Yeah,
of what she talks about in this, most of the instances of her speaking are you sure you don't want to play the solo? I think I should back out. I really just want to have fun and play with everybody. Maybe you
yeah,
should play the solo instead. Are you sure you don't want to
yeah,
play the solo? I think I'm going to forfeit. That
yeah.
there's,
I think she
and
asked that more than 4 or 5 times during
yeah.
the course of the seasons.
And you know, it makes sense that she would ask repeatedly because she's looking for a particular answer.
Yeah,
This
especially
is the
from Kumiko.
Yeah, well, this is the realization that Kumiko herself comes to with the help of Kanade, Red Ribbon Girl, who helps her to realize that, like, if she really if she really truly wanted Kumiko to have the part, she would just forfeit. She wouldn't ask permission.
Yeah,
She would just throw the audition on her own.
yeah,
But the thing is, Mayu loves concert band so much that she can't bring herself to do that.
yeah,
And that is what we needed to learn rather than being told
yeah,
through Kumiko's realization. We need to see how much Mayu loves to play. And I don't think we saw that.
Yeah. Because
So that is a problem.
Yeah, if we learn, if we come to know how much Mayu love to play, we have to see her play some of these, music by herself. And we only hear that, I think, at the beginning, at like the introduction of her characters. And most of the time, we actually hear Kumiko, who's the one who, like doing the little tune when she's sad, the Sound Euphonium
Yeah.
tune. Yep, I agree with
Yeah.
you.
So I do remember. Is it episode 13 where
The last one.
Kumiko finally shares the piece with Mayu?
Yep. Yep.
Earlier in the season, there's I don't remember what episode exactly. I want to say 5 or 6, somewhere in that range, where Mayu hears her playing it and comes around the corner to her little spot,
Yep.
Kumiko's little spot, and expresses interest in the piece that Kumiko is playing, but she doesn't, Kumiko doesn't share it with her, and you hear narration over top of it. Like, I don't know why, but in that moment, I didn't want to share it with her.
Yep. Yep.
So in episode 13, she finally does share it with her, but of course, the show cuts away before we can get a performance. I would have loved to hear the two of them playing it together, to see the two of them playing it together as a visual representation of
That's
the
true.
fact that they're on the same page now, that they've come to an understanding, that they respect each other's talent.
Yep.
Just
If
show
yeah,
it to me.
Yep. If there is one performance that I would love to hear, like I'm fine with all the concerts performance that be cut, because it's
No,
not
I'm
the
not fine with that
point.
either. No.
No, but if I have to pick one, I would choose that moment because it really highlight the all the conflict and how they resolve, how they come into the understanding, how they literally in the same music,
Same space,
same
playing the
space. Yeah,
same thing.
yeah, true.
Yeah,
So
that would have been
yeah.
nice. And doesn't Kanade also? I think that's the same scene
Kanade
where
as
she
well, yeah.
has difficulty opening the window, but
Yeah,
she
yeah.
also I don't.
I
Does she
I
invite
love the
herself in to play with the two of them as well?
she invite herself to play, and she actually asked Kumiko if she can like learn to play that in the future, which
Yeah.
Kumiko said yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
right.
So
It's like a passing of the torch, kind of,
Yeah.
because Kanade is going to be the new third year, like first chair euphonium.
yep. I think she really is the one who get the short stick out of the whole the whole seasons. Like
Who?
I feel bad. That girl, like
Kanade?
I Canada, yep. Because I
No,
did
I
feel
think we
bad.
just established that it's Mayu who gets the short stick.
Alright, hear me out. I feel bad for Kumiko who cannot play the Soli. I think that's
Yeah.
what they say. It's not solo, it's Soli.
Well,
But,
Soli is just the plural form of solo, because there are two
Oh.
members playing each on
I
their
see.
own.
I see. Oh, right. I didn't know that. Right, so I feel bad for Kumiko who cannot do that, twice. But
Right.
Tanade, she didn't get into like the main concert. So she didn't get to be like practice at all. She that just got sidelined because not because she doesn't have the technical skill. It's just because the two of her senpai who are really good at their job to the point that they need to cover others section of the band instead of like putting her in. So
Yeah.
she get a short stick out of this.
Yeah, in that sense, that's definitely true. I mean, Taki Sensei's rationale is that they need more bass.
Yeah.
That's why he selects 4 tubas and only 2
Yeah.
euphoniums
And I see-
for the
yeah.
second and third performances, for regionals and nationals,
Yeah.
because they need a fuller bass section for the particular pieces that they're playing.
Yeah.
And Kanade is understandably pissed about that.
Yeah.
And you get the sense as she's expressing her frustration to Kumiko about Kumiko not being able to play,
Yep.
the solo.
Yep.
She what she's also frustrated about and what she doesn't express as directly is that she is not
Got sidelined
participating.
as well. Yep.
Yeah,
True. But yeah, I just say that the audition of Kumiko and uh, the
Mayu.
yeah, and my both time it actually pretty good, like one of the best out of the whole things, the whole
I
three
agree.
seasons. It
I
just
agree.
I just
Dude, my
feel,
hands were
like
sweating when
yeah,
they were going to announce who got selected, and I had a strong suspicion it was going to be Mayu.
yeah, yeah, me too. It's
And
man,
I even knew that when Reina cast the deciding vote that Reina already knew who was who.
yep, yep,
Because leading up to the second audition, Reina says, "I want to, I've already made my mind up. I'm going to go to nationals and play the soli with you."
yep,
But you just know that in that moment she's going to break that promise because
yep,
she's obsessed. She's completely obsessed with victory, with winning gold,
yep,
and she feels that Mayu is the better player. So it's
and
really it really is a great moment because
yep.
or you might suspect how it's going to play out, but at the same time you're nervous and you're not totally sure.
and like looking back in hindsight, you see like some of these other members, like the way they vote for, uh really tell about, like how they you, like how they think, like Tanade and the guy, the vice president
Shuichi.
Suichi, they know Kumiko South, so they, like they've been voting for her. So
Yeah.
you can see that they, I think like for Tanade, she was, a bit hesitant at first, but she decided to still choose Kumiko. So, like the one who really close to her know about her voice and sorry, not her sound, and like they should have. It's just a really great scene all around. Like you can see a lot of like subtle decisions, and you know
Yeah.
I
Wait,
really enjoy it.
did Kanade vote for Kumiko?
Kubiko, yep, I think so. Yep, not a hundred
Okay.
percent sure, but I gonna check back on that scene. But I think that's she vote for the second person, which is
Okay.
Kubiko.
Suddenly I'm doubting whether that's actually the case, but I mean it would make sense if it did, if she did, because she wants Kumiko to play. But
Yep.
yeah, of course it has to be tied, and
Yeah,
of course Reina
yeah,
cast the deciding vote. It's just
I had
sometimes
that.
no, sometimes it feels good for
Yeah,
it to
sometimes.
be so predictably down to the wire.
True, true, true. Doesn't we just have like one like that? Um, just some weeks ago, Dutch, where they vote for the best girls, and that
Oh yeah,
Tatcha
and
who vote for
Tatsuya
Minami.
cast the deciding vote.
Yep, yep. Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean it's an
I
easy way for an author to make all the action revolve around their like favorite character or the main
Yeah,
character.
and it just feel a bit cruel as well, and I, for me, profound sadness that Kumiko doesn't get to play the last performance in the solo with Reina. uh I maybe the show would be better for me as well if the band doesn't get to go at the end. What do you
You
think?
think?
Yep.
No, I think it's fine. Happy endings are okay.
You think
If
they
the
earned
show's
it? All right.
good up to the point where the happy ending occurs, then I'm fine with it.
All right. All right.
If the show sucks and then you get a happy
Certainly we get
ending,
happening. All right.
then that ending sucks.
Yep. Yep. All
That's
right.
I would
Fair
say
enough.
that's my general philosophy, if you can call it that.
Yep. Well, I'm pretty sad that we get into the end of Hibike Euphonium journey now because it's been quite a ride, and you know, a lot have been happening for especially for the studio since like the first seasons.
Yeah.
So to see that they still like going strong and ending strong, it gives me hopes.
Yep. It's a nice ending.
Yeah, and
Um,
I also really think that this is like they get the best out of the first and the second season. Like the first season focused more on these characters' interactions, on these small details, which this season had as well, and the second season is more about Rama, which
yeah, dude,
this is
I still
also
don't like the second season.
well, but the second season have the best performance. Sis.
I've forgotten a lot of it.
Wow, there's like the whole I think 8 minutes performance. I think in like episode 10 or episode 8 or whatever in the second season because I blocked that show back then. I remember
Do they make the
uninterrupted.
nationals in season 2?
Oh, good question. I don't think they make the national. I think
Okay.
they fell at the Kansai regionals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
think they got silver. I'm not sure if they got silver or gold, but because they can only pick the three team to go to the nationals. They didn't make it to the final three. I still don't remember. I don't remember if they get the gold or the silvers out of that regionals performance.
Wait, so then season 1 was the finale of season 1, was that just prefecturals? Cuz seasons 1 and 2 are both Kumiko's first year.
Yeah, I would say so. Yes.
Okay. Huh. Man, see,
I
season 1, that's my ideal
all right. I
because
I don't
they're
remember much of season one actually, but yeah, I would
oh,
say
season
that.
1's the one I remember.
Yep, go on.
Because it's the thing about it is if indeed it only goes up to prefecturals,
Uh huh.
uh, then it's a shorter amount of time, but it's still 13 episodes. So everything is given more time to breathe.
Yep.
There's more
That
space for performances to be depicted.
that's true. But we got a lot of stuff up, like they forming a band and Kumiko kind of like spending time with others out of the music as well. While like the second and the third season is more really a lot about that music focus. They cannot do anything except for playing their music.
Well, when you're trying to win first place in the national championship, you really don't have time for anything but music.
True, true.
Even when she goes over to Reina's house to hang out, they play music.
Yep,
Even when she has a free night and she wants to go somewhere with
yep.
Reina, they go to a concert.
That's true. Yep.
We do see them go to the pool, though. Of course, there's a pool episode.
Yep. And they did go up to that hill, like the place where they always, stay, talk to each other at night.
Daikichiyama.
Oh, Daikichiyama, they have a name for it. All right.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, a little hilltop. Maybe there's a
Yep.
shrine there. I don't know.
There isn't. I was there. If
Yeah,
you
I know
don't
you made a
remember,
pilgrimage. Yeah,
yeah,
I remember. So
yeah.
there's no shrine up there?
No, there isn't. But it's just
It's
like
just that little,
the small
uh,
stop for people to stop and like it's like an outlook.
yeah, like a
So
scenic
people,
point.
yeah. But like the road to get there is actually dark. You don't have any light. You don't see anything. You don't see. You cannot hear anything. Sorry, you hear a lot of things beside you, but it's just big black.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. You don't need to see where you're going when you have someone shining as brightly as Reina waiting at the top.
True, true, true. Yep, I can make it. If it's Rena who waiting for me at the on the end of of the hill.
Sorry, she only likes older men.
Or Kumiko.
Nope, not that. Kumiko's a failure of a president, after all.
Yep. Yep. All right. I think this season just made it for me. I feel. I think I stay up to watch more of these. I think I stay up to watch like 6 7 episodes in one day just because it was so good.
It's a good feeling.
Yep, it is. So, yep.
All right. Yeah, Hibike
We,
Euphonium, pretty clearly the best show of these three, I would say. Perhaps the best show of the season overall. I
perhaps.
won't really be able to make that call until after I've caught up on a bunch of other stuff, but
Yep. Yep.
yeah, pretty strong. Of course, I have a bunch of little individual issues, but the thing is, like watching Kaiju No.8 and even Shuumatsu Train, there were points where I was just exhausted, and I was like, please just let this be over. But with Hibike
Just
Euphonium, even when in the middle of watching an episode, I would be like, well, I'm not sure I agree with that decision, or I would have written that differently, or I
yep.
really regret that I didn't get to see this. I was always thinking about like what the show could do differently, or how it might have turned out if they had made a different choice, or what I might have liked to see. I was always thinking and engaged
Yep.
with this show in that way. And there are plenty of anime where I'm just like,
It,
my eyes are just glazed over, and I'm just like, how many more minutes of this am I gonna have to endure?
Yeah, one more point that I want to make is that we mentioned about how much you just keep asking Kumiko's of if she want her to to give up on the audition and all that. I just feel that the way Kumiko answer it and the way they push for the action is it's really Japanese way of doing it. So if we take it in, more of a Western approach, Kumiko would be like, if you don't want to participate in the audition, you can just tell the teacher straight on, and and done with that. But in this case, it's Kumiko who was more like, because you are a part of this school, and this is a school tradition to honors, the one who who be the best, so you have to participate in this as well. It's your responsibility almost to do the audition, and
Mm.
if you are the better player, you have to play the solo.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it just kind of a really Asian or Japanese way of dealing with the issues.
that could be. But even even as a Western person myself, I guess,
Yeah.
even if you know something similar were to happen in like a concert band based show in America or some other European country, or something like that, they could keep the same meritocratic ideal and say, no, everyone has to participate and the best person gets selected. But rather than Mayu asking over and over at different points throughout the season, she might ask the first time and Kumiko would be like, nope, everybody's going to play and the best person for the job is going to get it. And then, two
That's the end
episodes
of it.
later, Mayu might ask again and Kumiko would be like, we already talked about this.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
wouldn't keep just politely asking each other,
Yep.
oh, should I back out? No, of course not. No, everyone needs to play. Well, are you really sure? Yes. Oh, yes, I'm sure. There, the
Yeah.
second time, Kumiko would just be like, didn't we already talk about this?
Yep. 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 That's true. Well. All right.
And I mean, I thought that way as I was watching. I was like, Mayu,
Yep.
come on, stop.
Yep.
Do you have amnesia? Are you Yoka from Shuumatsu Train? Did you forget everything? Is your mind like fogged over? But I think I was able to follow along with the rationale that was given when has her big eureka moment where she's like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
Mayu just she feels guilty, about potentially taking a spot away from everybody. But
Yep.
so that's why she keeps asking, because she wants to assuage her guilt.
Yep.
But at the same time, she doesn't want to. She doesn't really want to give up the spot.
Yep. Yep. Well. Okay.
I think I can understand that, and I guess empathize with that.
I think I do as well, and like you mentioned as well, I would love to see more of of the way the show Mayus
Honestly,
to have that
Mayu spinoff. I'm just gonna put that out there into the universe.
spin off.
Mayu spinoff.
All right.
I will be there on day one
All right.
for Mama Senpai,
All right.
as the first years called her.
All right.
Do you
All
not
right.
remember
I
that?
think. No, I do. I don't.
When she fixed one of their uniforms with a little sewing kit, and she told that story about how sometimes when kids are young, they accidentally call their teacher Mama.
Yep.
But
I.
You remember
Yep.
that?
I remember that. I thought that story was weird, and I just didn't think much of that. So, can you just tell that story again? Yep.
I mean, the whole story is that sometimes kids do that, like they call their teacher Mama when they're young.
Yep.
But so when she was in elementary school, another girl did it to her.
Oh, right.
One of her classmates called her Mama because she has I don't know, I guess a motherly quality to her or something.
All right. Huh. Good to
Could
know.
have used more of that as well. Could have used a
Mama
little bit
Mayu.
more clarity and a little bit more, a few more examples of that.
Yeah. 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 True.
But it's fine. We got the spinoff. We're good.
Yep. All right. I think that's the end of it for us. Check back this play in a few weeks where we tackle the new seasons.
Yep. Summer 2024.
Yep.
It's not coming up. It's already underway, and we'll be talking about 10 shows as we typically do.
Yep. All right. So hopefully we see you all there again in 2 weeks, in a few weeks.
Okay. See you then.
All right. Bye for now.